Game number 3 is getting underway. One of these guys is going to be taking advantage of this series 2-1, and we're going to find out what changes they've made. They're going to fight this one out. Rdu cannot afford another loss, and Zalae's chasing down number 1.
Like, I just picture after that game's over, Zalae just opens his door and he yells, "Hey, Purple, I got somebody with sniping," and he just runs in, gives him a high five, and runs back out. Like, no words need to be spoken.
I want them to have, like, a personal accountant, like, specifically to track those snipe turns, and he's got, like, the green visor and, like, an old adding machine in there.
Oh, with the
yeah. A much better opening Druid hand for Rdu, but still a little bit below average, I'd say.
Yeah, he does have some early interaction here, though, so he's going to be able to, you know, keep up with Zalae a little bit here.
Yeah, the big key is that in this matchup, this hand is not quite below average. He's got Wrath to take out minions. He's got Keeper of the Grove to follow up and buy some more tempo. And Shade of Nextrom is not the worst minion in this matchup, but, you know, you're certainly wishing this was like a Harvest Golem or something.
Yeah. Love leading with the Mad Scientist here as well, because if he does have something, oh boy.
Now, this is a tough turn because you're looking at a potential turn 5 Dr. Boom. Do you really want to sacrifice that? I mean, I guess you have to. This is just so strong.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. Like, intervening out Keeper of the Grove against the aggressive decks, and then anytime you can interact with Hunter's Mad Scientist, it just feels like a giant win for you.
Yeah. This is bad for Zalae. This is really bad news.
Explain, why is this so bad?
Well, you see Tannen, Rdu gets to kill all of his minions and then play his own.
Oh yeah, that sounds bad.
It's pretty darn bad. The real saving grace of this hand is the Animal Companion. If Zalae can stabilize through the Animal Companion turn, got a pretty decent shot to win this one.
And he just has to play the Knife Juggler here.
It's getting worse and worse.
That's an acidic Swamp Ooze from Rdu, coming a little prepared. Zalae, he's the kind of guy you get to kill weapons against.
Yeah, it's the kind of guy that you definitely will be able to kill minions against, and it's Animal Companion. Pretty darn good rolls here, and Misha is one of them.
Now, if you're Zalae, do you go face since you got Misha?
No, I'd trade this all day. The last thing I want is another Keeper of the Grove, just completely destroying my life. You know, at least make him trade the Shade if he wants to do that.
Right. I can kind of agree with you, but Zalae, I mean, you never know. I was going to say, there's a good chance Zalae goes upstairs. He is an Archon player.
You know, with 2 piloted Shredders in your hand, you do have a lot of gas behind this. I see about 1 play here from Rdu.
What's that, double Wrath?
Yeah, I like
Wrath hero power?
No, it's double Wrath all day. The last thing you want to do is take 4 damage. I even don't mind bringing out the Shade here because he's got the acidic Swamp Ooze, but at the same time, you're curving into a Lotheb, so the last thing you'd want to do is give your opponent a clean turn on that.
Yeah, I mean, if he just has Eagle Horn Bow, he gets like a pretty easy, you know, pick off of the, almost had Snipe here, but that's a little inappropriate since, you know, it's a little disrespectful Rdu since he got sniped last game.
The other thing too is he just wants to play his Lotheb on curve, but now, that's the funny thing is if in a world where Eaglehorn Bow would have taken this out and he would have gone Ooze Wild Growth, he'd have a Dr. Boom next turn.
Yeah,
instead.
if you'd have known that he was drawing exactly Wild Growth, yeah. It's a 7-mana Freezing Trap. What a deal.
That is not the best deals anywhere. Zalae, this is another tough turn from him because he doesn't have any clean ways to take care of this poor position. He's got a piloted Shredder, and is he trading here? Nope, going upstairs. I would have been shocked if he traded.
Again, it's just the Archon way of life. You go face.
So now this is really the big turn for Rdu, is he start racing?
Oh yeah, you definitely push when you get the Savage Roars.
Do you use the Shade here?
What are the cons of using Shade?
Well, Ironbeak Owl is a big con.
Right.
You know, Ironbeak Owl kill command is like the worst turn that could ever happen to you.
Ironbeak Owl Houndmaster is not going to be the worst thing in the world either.
But you do get 5 points of damage.
Yeah.
So
Zalae's even got Freezing Traps here if he needs to, you know, get a little tempo oriented.
Back-to-back Freezing Traps, not the best draws in the world. But, you know, does he mind giving his opponent a Lotheb right here? You know, 7-mana Lotheb is not the end of the world. You're going to be going into Dr. Boom the turn afterwards.
Now, if the Ironbeak Owls, do you think I don't think there's a chance he plays Freezing Trap after Ironbeak Owls, right?
I don't know. I think there is a chance he plays it.
Yeah, if he eats the Shade, then he's definitely doing that.
Yeah.
He's going to get to weave in a hero power here as well. You're seeing Zalae, you know, retake control of the board here and try to take control of this game.
Yeah. Again, he's totally okay with a 7-mana Lotheb in this spot. He's got Dr. Boom to follow us up.
That was a great draw from Rdu here.
I don't know if there is a better one in the deck.
I was about to say he either needs a big taunt or a Force of Nature here.
Yeah, the only way he really gets punished by this is Snake Trap, And considering what he saw in game 1, it's pretty difficult, I think, for the Snake Trap to be in here.
Yeah, when they have stuff like Snipe in their deck and Freezing Trap, it's kind of hard to play around Snake Trap as well.
Yeah, I think step 1 would have been attack into this Piloted Shredder. See what dropped. And that's kind of a rare one. Two of
the same minion?
Yeah, 2 Mad Bombers in a row. That's pretty rare. And I actually like going upstairs here as well. I don't know if I like that as much. You know, if you go 5 points of damage to the face, Zalae sitting at 15, and you have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You have 15 points of damage next turn with the Treant, the Shapeshift, and the Savage Roar. But now he's in a spot where Zalae just gets to basically trade for free and then play his 6 or 7 drop here. Yeah. Whereas before, you would have gotten in 5 points of damage, and he has to trade anyway.
I can kind of agree with you there on that.
But at the same time, you know, he hasn't seen Kill Command or anything like that.
Right.
So he knows that if he just buys enough time, that he's got inevitability on his side.
Stranglethorn Tiger from Zalae here. We've seen this from Show in this season.
Yep. So answering with the Dr. Boom, you know, the same threat is still here. Zalae now has to trade. It's just a different scenario where you set up a trade situation. And maybe at times it mitigates the impact of something like, say he top decks Kill Command and has a Houndmaster behind it. It mitigates that effect a lot.
Yeah, I like that play line, actually, now that you mentioned that.
So, you know, pros and cons. You miss some damage, but you created a little bit more difficult board state.
How does Zalae get through this turn?
I think he's looking to Freezing Trap his Dr. Boom.
Yeah, that's what I was believing.
I tell you what, though, he's going to be nervous if this Boombot hits him for 3. If this Boombot hits him for 3, I think you actually might see him trade. Well, when it hits him for 1, he's definitely not trading. That's for sure. Yeah, Freezing Trap Tiger. It sets up lethal. It keeps you protected from Force Nature Savage.
Does Force Nature Savage still kill him here? Because you just attack him with one of the ints, and then the extra 2 damage on the Dr. Boom is 9.
You know, you're actually right. So
it's still, Force of Nature is still lethal here. Yeah. That's why he reacted that way. Rdu doesn't have it. He does have double Savage Roar, but no Force of Nature. This isn't like the other game where he just had all of it.
Hang on a second. Is double Savage Roar still lethal here, though? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1 damage off.
Yeah, with the int.
Yeah, you can play the Treant, double Savage Roar, and use the Treant to absorb this Freezing Trap. So that's his first order of business, is what has to absorb this Freezing Trap.
Now, how low does this get Zalae? If he does it, he puts him 9, 4... Be able to threaten lethal next turn, but I mean, he has to trade with Dr. Boom, right? I mean, he's facing down lethal himself.
Yeah, he's got 15 damage in every single way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. 1 damage off lethal.
Yeah,
but does get to set 2 minions. I mean, he's still not dead to a Kill Command here.
Right, he does still have lethal next turn with this Treant and double Savage Roar too.
Because Zalae has the Houndmaster, it actually is lethal if he draws Kill Command. And that's probably the second best card he could have drawn.
Wow, that was a huge draw there for Zalae. Now, the easiest turn I see is just Zalae push for 5, Houndmaster up, his Stranglethorn Tiger, and Lotheb.
Well, Houndmaster push for 7.
Yeah.
But, you know, is he worried about Big Game Hunter at all? Is there a world where Zalae trades into this Acidic Swamp Ooze to continue to fight for board control? You know, if he's getting close to these late game stages, it means that RDU doesn't have the tools to beat this. But if you push to 7, RDU's got multiple threats to deal with.
If RDU has Big Game Hunter, how bad is it for you here?
It's really not that bad. And Swipe is not going to be enough to get this done. RDU has no way to fight back this turn.
Yeah, I was going to say, he doesn't even have really anything he can do. It looks like RDU's going to fall here.
The Lotheb shutting off a lot of the potential utility is a big difference in this game, and that's why he chose to play this so aggressively. Zalae, wow, I mean, what a tight game this one was. And RDU, despite creating a little bit more difficult board state, you know, maybe the push for damage would have changed the way this worked a little bit. I mean, he was 1 damage off lethal the next turn.
Yeah, he could have maybe, you know, played a little more defensive to make Zalae play differently this game.
He's gonna eat the damage and fall right there. What a game from Zalae, able to keep pressure every single step of the way. And even against you know, I've heard a lot of people telling me lately that they think that Druid beats Hunter. And frankly, I've always disagreed with that. I think that this is a matchup where it's all about tempo. If you get out to an early lead and then you can capitalize on that, that's where you're able to win.